change the property classification from the commercial property classification on the greenhouses and the land associated with it to agricultural. The change was then applied to the 2022 assessment roll. Since the property was not appealed in 2021 and that roll has been confirmed, closed and confirmed, legislation does not allow us to apply decisions retroactive. So administration, we do not have the authority to adjust the property taxes on this property for the 2021 taxation roll. As per Section 244 of the Cities Act, Council has authority to cancel or reduce tax arrears. It is the recommendation of Council. We had a large number of properties that did have concerns when they got their 2021 tax notices, and then further appealed here in 2022. So it is the recommendation of administration to not approve a refund on this property. The property was not appealed for 2021, and we need to ensure we treat it consistently with all other properties. The decision to approve a refund or for part of the taxation could potentially impact other properties that would also like to seek a refund. We did have a number of properties that did appeal in 2022 because they were unhappy with their taxes as well in 2021, and they did win their decision as well. We are not applying that retroactive as well. We do have 2022 appeals that have been appealed further to the Saskatchewan Municipal Board because they lost. If they do win at the Saskatchewan Municipal Board, we don't apply that retroactive to 2021 as well. So the assessment system is designed to not, we don't consider ownership in valuing a property, and the appeal process and legislation is designed to keep a very unbiased system. And we also do go through and do a lot of agreements to adjust through the appeal process as well, and those aren't applied retroactive as well. The refund for the 2022 Board of Revision decision was the $5,423.17, and a refund for this property, if approved for the 2021 taxes, would be $5,284.70. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? I don't see any. Thank you very much for the presentation. Councillor Cody. Oh, sorry.
I agree with your presentation because it's right. I know that, but I don't agree that it should have gone this way at all. After all, these people, you know, they have a little greenhouse and they sell a few pots and plants. I'd be surprised they're going to sell $5,000 worth of product in 1 year. You know, it'll break the people is what it'll do. And that's just silliness, you know. That just doesn't make sense to me. Now, I understand that the appeal board did reverse the decision with regards to how it's valued now. Is that correct?
Are you talking the 2022 decision?
Is it going to go back to agriculture the way it was?
For 2022, the buildings and the land associated with the greenhouse business did go back to agriculture.
That's how they're, so,
Yes.
so in 2022, 23, or whenever the new tax year is, they will be taxed as agriculture versus as a commercial entity.
Yes, that is correct. The decisions apply to the subsequent years.
Okay. The only thing they're out is the $5,200. And you know, in many respects, you can't blame them because who believed that this was going to be such a swing? And whoever thought that we were going to take and put them into a situation where it's commercial versus agriculture? They didn't know that. They would have no way of knowing that. And so as a result, they wouldn't have appealed. And that's all the part of the problem that's a little tough on these folks. But I haven't spoken to them at all, but I know from people who purchase out there that they're not a very large entity, so.
Is there any other discussion? Anyone willing to move there is no motion on the floor?
Tara Lennox up.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Lennox up.
Thank you. I'm going to move a different motion. so it's under, if you want to look at, under options to recommendation in the report. So I move that the city approve the request from the property owner for a reimbursement in the amount of $5,284.70. And if I can just speak to it.
Go ahead, Councillor Zepp, Lennox Zepp.
Thank you. Thank you. So please correct me if I'm incorrect on this, but my understanding from the report and the presentation, so this family did appeal in 2022. They did, the city had labeled them as commercial. They appealed in 2022, and they argued with the board at the appeal that they were in fact agricultural. They won their appeal. They are actually agricultural. They should not have been charged the $5,000 because as the appeal board states, they are agricultural. They should not be commercial. And I respect what I've heard from administration today. I can understand their points. However, I am moving that we as City Council consider this as a one-off situation. And as Councillor Cody said, it is really an unfortunate situation where it's a small organization, and they in 2022 they did appeal, and they were correct. So you can understand their frustration. If you do take the time to speak to this family, they indicate that in 2021, they indicate that they did contact the city and speak with our department and to try to gain understanding and sort this out. However, they did not formally file. They thought they were working with the city to try to get to a resolution, and they did not end up filing a formal appeal until their 2022 taxes. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Grodnick.
Thank you. I have a question of the city assessor. If I open up a greenhouse on Brannion Drive where I live, and I start a whole bunch of tomato plants, and I give them away. But if I do that and then I apply to have that as agriculture, can I do that, have it rezoned as agriculture? And then if I would win, then that would mean my taxes would go down significantly. Is that correct?
That's kind of, sorry, thanks for the question. It's a bit of a difficult question to answer because we also have to look at zoning as well.
Yeah.
So we'd be looking to see if planning and development would even permit that use in that location. But if it was a greenhouse and you had retail business out of that greenhouse, it would be commercial.
But if I appeal it and say it's agriculture, I could appeal it and say, no, this is agriculture, if I'm selling tomato plants. And then if I won, that would mean, that would have a significant impact on my taxes, correct?
Yes, that would be correct. This decision can also, because we don't consider ownership in assessment, it could impact all the other greenhouse properties in the city as well. I did look at the possibility of appealing it further to the Saskatchewan Municipal Board to have this decision overturned.
See, that would be my concern because, you know, all the greenhouses in town now could then appeal, and we could be opening up a can of worms here. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? I have a question for this speaker. Approximately how many previous in the revaluation year did not have the revaluation, then did have their revaluation in 2022, and it resulted in something different? Just an approximate ballpark number?
We had 31 appeals that that were filed. I don't know the number that we did agreements to adjust with, but of the ones that went to the hearing, we had 2 other properties that did win their appeal as well.
Okay, and I was going to say refresh my memory, but it's not refreshing my memory. I would like to know, what is the definition of the agricultural land? What makes something agricultural?
To be agricultural, you're looking at the land and the improvements. It's used more for farming purposes and for, to be agricultural, you're looking at the cultivation of land. And so it's for the predominant potential use is cultivation, determined as the best use that could reasonably be made of the majority of the surface land area. You're
Okay.
using it for dairy production, poultry, livestock,
Okay,
a lot of different farming uses.
and then we also use a term non-arable?
Yes, non-arable will be more classified for pasture land, hay land, wasteland.
And then we move into commercial and different groups. Okay, thank you very
Yes.
much. Councillor Cody?
I think that the city solicitor has an answer to Councillor Rodnick's question. And it's got to do with land size. You can't just have a greenhouse that is called agriculture when you're not on land. You have to have land of some kind.
Okay, moving on. Moving on? There is a motion on the floor. Are we ready to vote? Yes, we are. I'm going to open the vote as soon as I find it. The vote is now open. Councillor Lennox Zepp,
In favor.
we're missing some votes. Okay, the vote carries. Next item on the agenda, bylaw number 20 of 2022, a verbal presentation by Craig Gettinger. Oh,
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you, members of council. So bylaw 20 of 22 is before you this evening in regards to the Prince Albert District Planning Commission. As you're well aware, the Planning Commission is made up of the RMs of Buckland and Prince Albert, along with the City of Prince Albert. Now, in order for that body to function properly, they are required to have their own district official community plan. So essentially, that's a document that includes and establishes policy language and objectives and goals to promote the orderly development of the entire Prince Albert region. There's been a number of items that have been brought forward to this City Council for consideration. Most of them have actually been referred back to the Planning Commission for more of a robust discussion. However, what is in front of you today actually was brought forward to the Planning Commission and voted on there. So in order to have that formally done, all 3 membering bodies need to approve that in their own jurisdictions, their own city council. So that's what's in front of you today. I won't go through the amendments in detail. Specifically, there's 2 main items. The first is to change what's called the land use map in the district official community plan. The area surrounding what was previously known as the Mary Nisbet Campground, that was sold a while back, and it was the land use was designated highway commercial. Now, as you know, that area is set back a fair distance from the highway, and to promote larger lots and also to bring current land uses back there into more of a proper land use, they're suggesting a more commercial industrial land use designation. And then there's some language in the district OCP that needs to be amended to reflect that as well. And secondly, in the jurisdiction of Albertville, they have some very limiting language in the official community plan that requires waste management facilities or lagoons to be set back a certain distance from other land uses. Now, the Water Security Agency distances contradict the zoning bylaw distances. So what they want to do is just change that, defer to the Water Security Agency. They are the experts and adhere to what those distance requirements are from the Water Security Agency. So those are the main amendments that you'll see in front of you. Those all make up bylaw 20 of 2022. The RM requires 4 weeks of public notification. The city, since we have our own public notice bylaw, we only require 2 weeks. But we will wait the 4 weeks as per the RM. This evening is for only first reading, and once we do public notification, that'll be for second and third reading, along with a formal public hearing. So with that, I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Are there any questions? Go ahead, Mayor.
Move the recommendation.
Thank you. Seeing no one else in the queue, motion is on the floor. I'm going to open it. The vote is now open. Councillor Lennox Up,
In favor.
still waiting on one. I'm waiting on one. Thank you. It carries. Okay, unfinished business. Seeing none, a motion to adjourn. Mayor
Move
Dion?
to adjourn.
Thank you. All in favor? We will come back at 5 minutes to 8. Thank you very much,
Thank you very
everyone.
much.